Hi everyone, I'm Marian and this is the first devlog of the Rise of the Undeaf, a game about zombies and music. So, it's the first week after I started to program, and you can see here on my board I have some epics I created, the steps I need to take to finish the game. And so far I have used a third-person template of Stride that I have customized for my needs, as well as implemented some basic features. So first thing I will do is show you what I have so far. I have my player that I can control. I have a zombie that tries to eat me, well, right now punch me, and yeah, I have a spawner object that creates more zombies over time. I also did everything so that you can control the player with both the keyboard and the mouse, and as well as a gamepad. Right, so here we can see we have the character and zombies coming after me, and then when the zombies close, it punches me. And right now nothing more happens, but my health gets decreased, and later we will see some sort of game over once it's 0, you know. So yeah, it's going on nicely. I can show you some things, like for instance, rather than doing scripts for most of the behaviors of the characters, I decided to do the proper component processor setup. So for example, here is the follower component. So a zombie has a component with just the target of what it's trying to go towards, and if it's enabled or not. And then we have the processor that manages all entities that have a follower component, and for each finds the proper path, etc., etc. Yeah, it's really a cool way to create behaviors that are shared among multiple entities. But on the other hand, when something like the spawner, which there will be only like 1 or 2 of those, I just did an async script because it's easier this way. And I can then also do a nice await delay and yeah, and have it very easily implemented. Apart from that, I wanted to show you a cool thing I did, which I think is cool at least. So often you would want to give your entity a way to send a message down the tree. So rather than having a global messaging queue, you'd want to have a local scope of it that just goes down to its sub-entities. And also like the components of those entities. So in my case, what I did was create a interface, or rather base interface that later you would create another interface of. So here, for instance, we have animation events that include such events as punch or set grounded, and the way you call those events or send them to the sub-entities and their components is by calling a broadcast event method on an entity. That's an extension, of course, which does a lot of magic in terms of creating a dynamic type, or rather dynamically creating a static type that propagates those events down the tree. And it's really cool. This way, my events are statically verified by the compiler, because, well, as long as this dynamic implementation is correct, after doing a broadcast event call, I receive an object that again implements the event, and then calling those events, for instance, in the character movement processor, I do broadcast event set grounded. I don't have to deal with strings, and this is potentially faster than reflection would be. Yeah, so I'm very proud of doing those type safe calls. And also I have a system of game events where everything that happens gets logged. So for instance, whether the character has jumped, whether their health has changed, whether a zombie issued a punch, something like this. It will of course be expanded on later. Yeah, so that's my first week of working on the Rise of the Undeaf. Stay tuned for more updates.